morning. How are you doing? I hope all of you are good and comfortable and ready to listen to it, because today we are going to end this topic, weathering and erosion. So, from your book, please open pages between 372 and 377. We are on Unit 8, Lesson 1 still. So, we learned how water and wind is causing erosion and weathering, and today we are going to learn how ice can cause erosion and weathering. Yes, huge sheets of ice called glaciers are found in very cold places, in top of the mountains, in cold countries, in polar regions. So ice can create a really big mass over the land, and gravity pulls the glaciers downhill, and when they are moving down, they are picking up soil and rocks underneath. So for example, like this type of this type of lakes can form as a result of glaciers. Okay, the ice can cut deep grooves inside the soil. So, and after these grooves filled with water, they are simply forming lakes. Let's see more examples. Here there's a really good example in this fjords. It's a really good example for glacial erosion. Once upon a time, maybe thousands of years ago, there was probably a huge block of ice, a glacier were there, and it just caused erosion over these rocks. And after it all completely melted, there's a lake formed. Again, this valley also is formed as a result of glacial erosion. Okay? Or this cave is formed as a result of glacial erosion. Okay, so as you can see that we can see these type of formations in the cold regions most of the time, and they need a lot of time in order to form these type of lakes and valleys. So around more temperate regions, around more tropical temperatures, you may not see these type of formations, but if you are going towards the polar regions, you may see deposition or erosion related with ice. Also, now I want to talk about water a little bit more, because water can cause really important changes around itself. It can create valleys, canyons like this. They can carve out these rocks in time. Small pieces of rock every time can go out with water, and it can form these huge carvings on the rock. Or what we say, that water can carry away the sediment, the small particles from the rock, and it can create some deposition places over while it is carrying away these sediments. Okay, so actually basically the landscape around this river is formed because of the sediment particles that the river is carrying. The landscape is formed as a result of the soil rock particles that the river is carrying away. So when the river gets older, it will this road it takes can change. Okay, it may get more straight because of this deposition of different sediments. So what else we can see? For example, here in in cliffs, near cliffs, we may see ocean waves. By hitting the rock, they may create this type of arches. They may create this type of holes. So the sediment from this rock is turning into sand around the beaches around the edge of the water. So in order to revise what we learned, we will try to solve some questions, and it is asking for us to choose the images that are most likely as a result of erosion. Rather than weathering, we need to find the erosion. What is erosion is doing? It is taking the surface layer of the soil or the surface layer of the rock, and it is turning rock into another shape, or sometimes it is turning it is moving away to the fertile soil and creating a hard desert ground. So the ice freezing and tree roots in rock were the examples that we gave in order to understand the weathering. On the other hand, the hollowed areas between the rocks, when the rocks are being unstable because of the wind erosion, or the ground is just turned into desert as a result of, again, wind or water erosion, are considered as erosion, but these are an example of weathering rather than erosion. Because in weathering, the rock or the soil is not changing their place, but in erosion, the particles of rock is changing their places. Okay, don't forget the most basic difference between weathering and erosion. Erosion will carry away the particles, but weathering, most of the time, they are not moving away the particles. See, the rock is still there, but it is just broken into smaller pieces. So in another question here, it is asking for us to just place these images in the form of if they are deposition or erosion. So if they are deposition, basically we should see that some accumulation of sand or some accumulation of soil. So let's see, a sediment slows down as a result of in the river, at the end of the river, is an example for deposition, basically. But a valley that is formed by glacier, formed by ice, this valley here is formed by ice, so it is a result of erosion. Or this sea arch is result of erosion by water. Water eroded this rock. On the other hand, the sand accumulated in the middle of the sea is deposition. But hard desert ground, the desert is losing its top soil, fertile type soil, because of erosion. And sand dunes, the sand particles carried by wind, are considered as deposition. So at the end of your book, actually not at the end of this topic, in your book you will see that there's a story related with plants, how plants can protect soil. So erosion and weathering, first are not always have good influences on soil. Sometimes as a result of erosion we can lose good fertile topsoil that we need for our plants. So here it is saying that in early 90s farmers faced with a problem related with wind. Thus storms carried away the important soil, much of the soil of the region, of a region. So and they try to find a solution for this problem. So as a result, farmers now planting different crops at different times in order to keep the soil covered. So when we increase the number of plants, even the trees, it is not also only have to be crops. When we increase the number of plants, we are decreasing the erosion. We are decreasing the chance of losing the good soil for farming or good soil for plants, because they are the roots of the plants are keeping the erosion keeping the soil in its place. So now to protect soil, farmers are more conscious about how they are going to plant their fields. So this was the end of our topic. Please do your homework. Pages between 378 till 338 will be the revision. If you can, please read 384 and try to do it by yourself. It is really enjoying. It is related with how you can protect yourself from differences from different weathers. But still, these are the most important parts in order to revise this subject. And that was enough for today. Thank you for listening.